Hey, folks, and welcome to the 2023 Major League Soccer Cup Final. I really fooled that intro, but you know what? Screw it. It's okay. My name is Scott Churchson with Streampunk Sports. Alongside me is Mr. JD Walker with Streampunk Sports and also Demos. For myself personally, I have been with the New York City Football Club, covering them since 2021. So one could make the argument the team never won an MLS Cup Final until I got involved. Down beneath me, Mr. J.D. Walker has been covering the Philadelphia Union and their arch rival now for the past 2 years. So our conversations have been, how do we put this delicately, interesting. We've got a few other people coming in from AAT Sports. We've got some other people coming in. We will be taking your questions, your thoughts, your ideas, your comments, your complaints, whatever you have. But we're going to start this off. Sammy D, man, how the hell are you?
All good. And football is terrible right now, so
instead of football, we go to football.
Let's enjoy this game to see how it goes with the have versus the have-nots. You know, LAFC. You know, they're the defending champions, and we have the
second biggest news to come out of Los Angeles sports today. We'll get another one.
Yeah. Los Angeles has 700 million reasons to be celebrating.
Are they? But here's the funny thing. For those that don't know, and JD, I'll get you in a second, I promise. For those that don't know, Shohei Ohtani has just signed a 10-year, $700 million deal with the Dodgers. So the good news for him is he does not have to change his driver's license. Probably doesn't drive much anyway. But boy, oh boy, does he get paid today. So it's kind of sad, but the Los Angeles Football Club, which is now going for its second straight MLS Cup Final, I don't know if it's going to get as much buzz because Shohei's changing addresses. JD?
Well, last year, the MLS Cup, they had a major issue with parking because at Bank of Montreal Stadium, BMO, whatever the soccer stadium in LA is called, they're right near the LA Coliseum, and there was a USC game going on at the same time. So it was impossible to find parking. So this is as you know, with covering NYCFC, when you're the eighth option in town, it's a little hard to get coverage.
You know, I was on a conference call yesterday with the commissioner lead, Don Garber, and they have somebody with a Love Unites jersey. The Columbus Crew, by the way, they are out in hardcore force today. We're going to talk about Columbus and the fact that they were able to pull off that win against Cincinnati, which was a big deal. I did not see that coming, but respect where it's due, definitely. But when it comes to the league and NYCFC, I was on the conference call with Don Garber, the commissioner, yesterday, and he talked about the importance of what he called finally some good news when it comes to soccer and the league. Now, we talked about the fact that 12 million tickets were sold across every single game in MLS this year. But for NYCFC and the fact that I've been covering them for 3 years, one of the biggest thorns in the side has always been the fact that they are playing in baseball stadiums. Yankee Stadium has long been recognized as one of the worst soccer pitches in the world, laughably so by any team that actually has a pitch. Case in point here, lower.com field, where the tried and true Columbus Crew are out. And it's a good pitch. It's a good energy. And Yankee
fantastic stadium atmosphere.
And Yankee Stadium, no. It's going to be interesting here. JD, I'm going to ask you a question. I'll switch over to you in a second. When it comes down to this match right now, on one side of the fence, we got Denny Bouanga, Golden Boot, 20 goal scorer. If you listen to the Apple broadcast, as when I put together the video on every one of his goals, you will notice that a lot of them were like, Bouanga! I don't know who the hell that was, and I apologize for anyone who just came in. I see the numbers right now. But Apple TV really like Denny Bouanga. But on the other side of the fence, we have Cucho Hernandez. So the big key for this is the question about whether or not each team is going to be able to stop the other. Thoughts?
I think that Columbus is well equipped for this moment, and this is Wilfred Nancy's first year with the team. Columbus it feels like it's been 10 years in the past few years, but Columbus also did win a championship in 2020.
They did.
So they have the experience. They've won two cups. They've been to another MLS Cup before. I believe they lost one of the times they lost to Seattle. And Wilfred Nancy was the coach of Montreal the past few years. So he had them, and they noticeably declined this year without him. So he's had them ready for the big games, and it's been kind of a slow build. Like the match with the Philadelphia Union, they played to a draw earlier this year out in Columbus, and Philly's game with Cincinnati. And then comparing it to Columbus and their game against Orlando, I said Columbus is probably the better team here, which turned out to be true, even with playing on the road. So Columbus has experience. LA is the defending champs, but they most of their big runs over the past 2 years they played at home. This is the first year where they really had any kind of test going on the road. Winning in Seattle in the second rounds, and in a game with officiating that was questionable at best, which has unfortunately been a major thorn in the side for Major League Soccer all season, and it's really come to a head throughout the playoffs with the in multiple games. So I'm just hoping for a controversy-free game that is not decided by the officials.
Oh. Has there ever been a playoff where the officials have been more maligned than this one?
The Super Bowl this year.
I mean, like an MLS stuff.
Yeah.
MLS
officiating has always been bad. Sammy, you watched the league and soccer in general for longer than us, so you could probably comment better on how bad CONCACAF officiating has always been wonky, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's their lack of experience is the reason. I mean, I don't criticize it too much because watching European soccer as well, you see it as well. I mean, there's a give or take of that. Now you have the VAR, so that kind of helps. With some of the controversial calls. So, I'm not surprised. I mean, every fan base is going to say, the officiating is terrible, against your team. Yeah. So, but as a neutral, you're like, okay. I mean, there's some, some referees let it go until the second half, and then they start throwing out yellows. Other times they just let them play like if it's Italian football and don't call anything. I guess it just depends on the refereeing crew.
I look at this right here, and the biggest thing, and this has been a lot of concern, obviously Philadelphia fans are still livid over the not offside call. I was on that subreddit. They had a breakdown. So for anybody who's ever unsure about how offside actually works, there's a great description in there. But this right here is what I want to bring up in this case. As a result, Columbus right now had a better record at home than Cincinnati. Cincinnati lost 2 games at home the entire season. Columbus has only lost the 1. Now, I had actually asked head coach Steve Tarantolo for LAFC earlier the week if that plays a factor, and he's like, it wouldn't have mattered either way. We knew that going into this was going to be a match that we were going to have to play on the road. It didn't matter whether it was going to be Cincinnati or Columbus. In this case, they were focused on Houston. They were focused on where things were at, but they knew that at the end of the day, they were not going to be able to play the MLS Cup Final at home. So they were prepped for it was going to be a harsh environment, whichever Ohio team won it. So that was a huge part of this. LAFC has a decent road record in this case. But Columbus at home, that is a fired up crowd, weather not permitting. No one cares there how cold it is or how bad the rain is, I should say.
I'm looking forward to watching the LA Pretty Boys have to play in weather.
That was another thing that was mentioned also. I forget who brought it up, but LA, I think it was Belonga who had mentioned the fact that, the team is used to playing in LA. They're used to playing, West Coast. Even Seattle's not that bad. Vancouver, okay, fine. But the issue in this case, and we are officially underway, by the way, the issue is it's not whether they're used to. Now, here it's 58 degrees in Columbus. That's pretty doable for December. You could do a hell of a lot worse than that. Rain, granted, but 58 degrees is still brilliant.
That's short weather.
Yeah, borderline, yeah. There, I'll put that right there. So, but all right. Yeah, see, they're already getting snippy a little bit here too. But who basically, as we're starting to get this underway,
My
Sammy,
question
let's
to
start with
you.
you. Do you have
My question to you is why you have more knowledge of. I'm used to seeing 4-3-3 formations.
Mhm.
It's the most standard one that you see around the world. I know there's certain coaches that I guess who they have in their lineup isn't capable of doing a 4-3-3. Why is he so comfortable using a 3-4-3 for Columbus?
Well, right now, I think in this case, I've got 3-4-1, the 3-4-2-1.
Even more 3-4-2-1
So
yeah,
it's live or die by Cucho with them. So.
I have the starting 11 for both sides. I got those in the pregame. So Columbus has a 3-4-3. Going back to front, we have Schultz in goal. Defenders are Amundsen, Camacho, and Moriera. I butchered that. The midfielder is Yeboah, Morris, Nagbe, and Farsi.
Yes.
And up front, you have Matan, Cucho, and Rossi.
They won at home, though.
No, LAFC won in
they won at home, but they did beat Philly. Yeah.
They beat Philly, but the game was in LA. The game was not in. If that game was in Subaru Park, the Union would have won.
Which is also funny, by the way, in this case, because the last two MLS Cup Finals have gone to overtime and to a shootout. So it'd be interesting to see if this one does, too. Statistical odds said it was a 27% chance it goes to overtime. But right now, favored is Columbus. Which is funny. The reigning champions are the underdogs here.
This is the game that the goalie broke his leg, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That was
that's how they ended up with 9 minutes of stoppage time that allowed LA to come back.
Yeah, that was Schultz.
Mr. Poe broke his leg.
And a cold goalie won the shootout.
Yep.
Yeah, Phil. Yeah.
It's crazy.
What's always funny is if you ever notice with the last 2 years that they've had the shootouts, whoever was most responsible for the shootout always ended up being the person who does the commercials for, I think it was like Continental Tire. So,
so I have to see. I've seen Billy shit talk Blake every damn game and see that stupid commercial where he's saying, "Oh, he goes here, but he's not. I'm smarter than him."
And the year before, Sean Johnson was doing the same thing with the save. But if you ever watch those commercials, you notice that all they're doing is just standing there, and then there's just B-roll audio combined with game footage. All they're doing, it's like the Patrick Mahomes commercial or any other athlete in a commercial. They just stand there, they fire off their lines, they're out the door in a couple hours.
Yeah, easy paid appearance. Yeah, and here's a lineup for LAFC. They're running a 4-4-3. You have Capo in goal, Palacios, Chiellini, Murillo, and Hollingshead on the defense. And the midfield is Acosta, Sanchez, and Tillman. And up front we have Bunaga, Vela, and Oliveira.
Yeah. By the way, it was really funny. The viewer count dropped as soon as I yelled at. I'm like, oh, that was a mistake. I'm not going to listen to this all day. But yeah, Golden Boot winner Denny Bouanga is going to be a big factor. The question in this case is, how much is Carlos Vela's final game and Carlos Vela's possibly final game with LAFC? How much of an impact is that going to have too?
I think it does have a bit of an impact. You saw it more at home last week where they subbed him out for the curtain call. And we are currently in the 5th minute with no score. Both teams are kind of feeling each other out.
Yeah.
Haven't really had much in the way of chances yet.
Nah. At this point right now, possession is 76% Columbus. Pass accuracy is 87-53 in favor of Columbus, but it's still early at this point, so that doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. But the question is, can they stop Cucho? Can LAFC stop Cucho? And can Columbus actually stop Bouanga?
I think they can. So Sammy, a 4-3-3 is more common in European soccer.
4-3-3 in Europe in general and other places. It's usually the basic one. So I'm just wondering, is it because it depends on the coach. Coaches tend to go to You know, I remember years ago during the Mourinho days, he lived and died with the 4-2-3-1. The 4-2-3-1.
Here we go. All right.
And then, you know, now you see the Guardiola's playing, you know, 3-5-1, 3-5-2, or I think it all depends on the personnel you have.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's very basic on that. So I'm surprised that here, you know, each coach, neither of them are use 4-3-3 in the formations.
This is actually, I don't see 4-4-3 very often in MLS. I think it's because of the depth of strikers that there's not as many good strikers to go around in MLS. Like Jim Curtin with the Union usually runs a 4-4-2 diamond.
First shot of the game is actually going to go out of play, and we're going to have a first corner, I believe, too. Ross is looks like he's going to be taking it. So Columbus with a chance to get the first shot on the game, too.
All right, yeah. The Union usually run a 4-4-2 diamond. Sometimes they'll do a 3-5-2. They'll do a 3 in the back if they're short on defenders or they're just trying to park the bus. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it didn't. They ran like the lineup they had against Messi, you know, trying to 3-5-2 park the bus in the middle. Clearly that didn't work. See the corner.
Nothing. All right, playing it back. This could end with the weather and the rain. I wonder if it's going to slow down offensive production. You might get like possibly a 1-1 into overtime or 2-1 final on this. It might slug things out, maybe a little bit more of a slugfest or a slow end slog. That's the word I'm looking for.
I think it'll start out as a slow slog, and then you'll get you might get one goal in the first half. I say Columbus 3-2 in regulation.
I say Columbus 2-1 in regulation. D?
Sammy, you have a pick?
Seeing what Columbia did against Cincinnati, I would say probably 3-2 in regular time.
Okay.
For Columbia.
All right, so I'm going lower end. We have our first opportunity right here too. But by the way, I want to talk about this. Malte Amundsen. You know, this is something that I've been wanting to bring up for a little while. I had covered Malte Amundsen from NYCFC from when I started in 2021. I never quite got my opportunity to chat with him. One of the things that we do with the channel, NYCFC, is we do 7 questions where we sit down with them, ask them about their upbringing, their training, what they like, what they do in their off time, whether it's Call of Duty, reading sci-fi. I've heard every answer to this one. I was supposed to have a conversation with Malte Amundsen to do this, but he got pulled back at the very last minute because of basically some training with, the hamstring, some work on the hamstring. So it got canceled. That literal week, he went over to Columbus, and I missed out on my opportunity. I was like this close, So for what it's worth, I'm really, really happy to see, Malte actually playing in an MLS Cup final. Yeah. I had talked to Wilfred Nancy earlier in the week about Malte and his impact. And
Kyle with the 3-2 pick for LA. All right,
you guys are going 3-2 except me. And he had talked about Malte Amundsen's impact. And, the fact that he is enjoying every minute of this, he's bonded, he's got a good, connection with the team and everything like that. And it's funny because when I posted that, everybody out of the NYCFC woodwork that follows me on NYC was like, Nick Cushing, you're reading this? Nick Cushing, are you reading this? Hudson River Blue retweeted it and was like, Nick Cushing, this is what you lost. We might have a shot. Oh, no, good stop. And, Crapo with a nice grab out of the air, too. But it looks like so far Columbus is actually putting a lot of a lot of growth here. First shot of the game, 82% possession right now for Columbus.
Columbia has had more chances.
Yeah, they really have. They're playing like a team that has been battle tested. This is interesting because you wonder if the Cincinnati match, how much of an impact that actually had to train them for this one.
Also, the West has been far weaker. Of the two conferences.
There's a breakaway. All right, let's see.
There he is. Oh, yeah, he's ahead. Okay, so you're ahead of us on this.
Oh, because I'm on Fox. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. If I could be, I would. I mean, I love Apple TV. I appreciate Apple TV. I appreciate everything that Apple TV does.
I like it when it works. Just sometimes if you're trying to scroll back and forth, sometimes it loses the spot and then it'll bump you up to and spoil it, even though you're trying to watch, a few minutes behind.
Here's the thing. They were good enough to pay for my entire season. So I'm not gonna gripe too much on this. But it's kind of funny because one of the biggest bugaboos is the fact that they are behind a regular broadcast. So a lot of times I'll sit there and I'll speed up the video to try and cut away some of that time, because it is pretty frustrating because it's like 15, 20 seconds behind. And you may have done this too when you're at Subaru Park. You'll watch the game, and if you have the stream live from Apple TV, and you'll look at it and you're like, they're like 20 seconds behind right now.
It's usually 30 or 40 in real time at Subaru
I'd
Park.
like it.
But is that general for any stream?
The whole league is running on the fruit funding at this point. So hey, we'll take it. Yeah, all right. These, since you botched the intro, I'll go with it. This is the MLS Cup Final for the 2023 Audi MLS Cup Playoffs. Bam.
Love it. Yeah, boy, did I screw up that intro. What a great first impression.
Nobody's paying us, by the way. We're just playing along.
But like I said, Apple TV has been really good to me the last couple of years between Severance and Hello Tomorrow. So, and like I said, basically just, it's.
I'm waiting a few weeks so when they start streaming Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Basically, that's the problem with movies nowadays too. It's like, you watch a movie, you wait for it like 5 weeks, and there it is.
Yep.
Yeah, or I want to watch this movie. Wait, what streaming service is it on? And you need to poke through Google just to figure out how I can find this X movie. Is it on a streaming service I pay for? Do I have to pay for it? Or screw it. I'll just watch the same shows I always watch again.
Yeah, the things you're familiar with. But all right, so we're getting
because that's totally easier than renting a DVD. Mm-hmm.
Well, back in the old days, Blockbuster.
So questions going back to Colombia. I know, again, I'm a follower of the New York Red Bulls. But I always once in a while see what's happening. I always knew Columbus was one of the originals, and I know at one point they were going to go to Austin.
There was some talk of that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then ultimately they got help, and so they're owned by the owners of the Cleveland Browns, correct?
Yes, the Haslams bought because how
they
that
kept them in Cleveland. They kept them in Cleveland and got a new stadium. I mean, they kept them in Columbus.
In Columbus,
got them a new stadium. Okay.
Yeah, because they had what they now call historic Columbus Crew Stadium was the first soccer specific stadium built, and because it was just kind of thrown together, it was very obsolete very quickly.
Okay.
But the owner, the previous owner of the Columbus Crew wanted to move them to Austin. So instead what they did was they did a swap where they gave him the Austin FC expansion team, and the Haslam family bought who owns the Cleveland Browns bought the Crew and kept them in Columbus.
Well, in theory, this means I'm just thinking that way, that from a budgetary standpoint, from an investment standpoint, Columbus won't have these issues going forward, because if the owner was capable of giving a guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson, I guess
who's out for the year himself,
he'll be able to put money into the Columbus Crew. Let's put it that way.
The Haslams know how to spend money. Do they spend it smartly? In America, with the Browns, not so much.
They know how to buy things. They don't know how to buy quality.
Right, but also I don't know enough about the Columbus Crew organization where I believe they're more hands off.
They've got their crap together.
Yeah, I believe the Haslams are more hands off with the Crew, which is why they're better.
By the way, we're 15 minutes in, still no score. One shot in general, no shots on target yet, but that can be expected. Like I said, they're going to kind of plan things out.
So basically, when they did that switch, the Haslams basically took the whole organization. It didn't give the opportunity to the owner to take anybody with them for Austin, correct? Or is that what's like the thing behind the scenes of like?
I don't think it was like a Cleveland Browns Baltimore Ravens situation. It wasn't like that. I think it was just a paper swap, but otherwise there may have been like a trade or something.
And Austin got we might have an opportunity here. Columbus goes in
another chance.
So
another chance.
Yeah, but and over the top. Yeah, like I said, Columbus is really. they are not playing like a team that has, they're playing like a championship squad. They really are.
Yes.
Now, last week was a championship match also. Now, my question to you, and both of you guys, I want to look at this. With Columbus having played in overtime last week, do you feel that might be a factor if this game goes into 87, 88, 89 minutes and it's tied? Do you think fatigue could become an issue here?
I think it depends on who you have on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they played extra time in the second round against Orlando too.
Also true, yeah.
I think I think it depends on the depth in their bench. Are they're comfortable saying, okay, I'll put him for 90 minutes and then we'll bring someone in that's capable of we'll use him in overtime and also for PKs. I think that's the issue. We'll know.
Also,
we'll know if by the 75th or 60th minute they start making changes.
Yeah,
the crew also do not have 10, 15, 20 extra games under their belt like LAFC does. LAFC, played in CONCACAF. They played in Leagues Cup.
When you're done with this, I want to throw something at you.
Columbus was out early in was not in CONCACAF Champions League, and they were out relatively early in the other tournaments. So they don't have the collective miles on them where teams like the LAFC and the Union had, the Union especially had those issues this year. So regardless of the extra time, I think Columbus is fresher than LAFC just in general. LAFC is also an older team where that's added up over the course of the year.
So, JD, I have a feeling I know how you're going to feel about this, but I want both of you guys to give me your input. One of the things that came on the conference call yesterday with Commissioner Don Garber was the concern about the weather. Because right now, here we are. It's December 9th. Now, it's 58 degrees, but that was more luck than good management. If this game was played in Toronto, Vancouver, New England, God knows what it could end up being. There was something that Garber had mentioned yesterday about starting the season earlier, which in my mind probably be like,
how?
This is how. Start the season with neutral area matches. And I think I know, JD, how you're going to, that's exactly what I was expecting you to think. Where in this, it was something he mentioned. I don't know if it's going to happen. And I don't think the league will go for it. Personally, I don't think they will. But the idea of starting like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 matches, I don't know, Miami, Nashville, Dallas, warm weather environments, and then kind of go back north. Now, I don't see that happening, but I was really surprised because right now it is a factor. Because you're breaking up the regular season to have to have Leagues Cup, to have all these other leagues going on, and that's good for
stopping the regular season for all these extra side quest tournaments. Then and don't have 34 games. You only need 30. Here's what you do. But here's what happens with MLS. When MLS gets to 32 teams, it's not if, it's when. Whether it's 3 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever.
Big opportunity for LA.
You stop trying to reinvent the wheel just because you're in America. Just because all that does is just upset all that the constant tinkering with the playoff format. Where casuals, you lose casuals because it's behind a paywall. I understand why it is, but if you keep starting and stopping the season, then you throw in all the FIFA breaks. Just the season's too long. You don't need to start earlier. Knock 4 games off. Make it 30 games. That's it. Go from 34 down to 30. Then you can have Leagues Cup. Then you can have U.S. Open Cup, which MLS teams still play in for some reason that I don't really understand. Especially if you're trying to expand CONCACAF Champions League for more teams, then you're going to have Copa America next year. Stop it. Make your season shorter. Double round robin. 28 games, or when we inevitably get, we're gonna have 30 teams shortly. Double round robin. And only your conference. No interconference crossover anymore because those games are useless. We don't get to see everybody. Yet you'll see all the crossover in these 18 other tournaments that these teams play in every year.
So not a fan.
Not a fan. Not a fan of this stupid playoff format. Not a fan of Don Garber waking up on the side with respect to the commissioner, but too much tinkering. LAFC has been in the league for 6 seasons. They've played in 3 different playoff formats. No other league does this.
No, the sport
For the
does.
21st minute, still no chances.
Yeah, it's
does
still.
the teams have any vote on this? If
What's
they
that?
decide, does the teams have any vote on this if they decide to do that?
Teams
The players
and
sure
owners
as hell
definitely
don't.
have an impact on that. Yeah, I personally don't believe. By the way, the ball's out of play. I personally don't believe this will happen. But it was very surprising when I heard that yesterday. I'm like, I never considered that, and I'm pretty sure the league would. You know, they got seriously wanted to do it. Pretty sure the league would fight that back. I mean, maybe you can start a lot of the games down further south, and Carolina, Houston, places like that. By the way, we've got a corner kick coming up for Columbus again, so we'll see what ends up
Maybe
happening.
instead of neutral sites, how about you make all the stadiums install grass?
Could do that too. Well, that's been another concern as well. But
we have a corner coming up.
Yeah, Malty's got it, and ball's out of play, and that was a massive nothing burger. Craybo's taking it out himself, but yeah, no, I was surprised to hear that, but who knows? I don't think it's going to happen, but I think if they took a page out of, like, say, Major League Baseball's book, where they start a lot more games further south and then move it north, I don't think that'd be the worst thing in the world. The only problem with that is that you would have a lot of loaded, loaded games here. Northern teams would be playing a lot of their road games and getting them out of the way, and then vice versa. So Miami would be playing the bulk of their home games at home and then play on the road starting May, June, and July. That would be a little bit of a concern, I think, when it comes to this.
Yeah, but also, especially with the one that really brings home the bacon for the league now in Miami. We're going to see how that goes. So if anybody actually has a say, it's whether the folks in Miami want to do that. And I imagine, and I don't think they want having all of their home games front loaded. That's
one of the things I can think about.
Like, especially if you have a situation like this season, where in the midseason transfer window completely changes over. Well, you already used up most of your home games in the first half.
You know what? MetLife Stadium, I think.
Oh!
Do we have something? Malty's got it. Coming across. And just wide.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, you're allowed to do that.
That's fine. Oh,
yeah. But I got
to switch to YouTube TV for the Fox feed.
And by the way, gotta love it.
They to have chances on goal.
Respect to Apple TV right there. They had a guy doing a double finger flipping the bird on camera. So love that part of it. Yeah.
It's behind a paywall, so you can put whatever you want up there.
There you go. Yeah, it's not FCC guidelines and all that. But that was great. Anyway, yeah, I don't see this happening in this case. It was an interesting idea, but you got to admit something's got to be done, and they're not going to shorten the number of games. They're not going to bring that down. Although I see your point. But
if you keep expanding the other tournaments, this is a problem we're seeing across a lot of sports now. There's so many games that the injuries are piling up. The quality of the product on the field is suffering. I understand that ownership wants more inventory, which means more games.
Money.
Everybody wants more money. Apple said we want more games, so they came up with Leagues Cup. Leagues Cup and this absolutely ridiculous playoff format.
Brand new,
also one way you can save some is way you can save some of the extra time is that now that you no longer have buys, so you don't have 3-week layoff between the playoffs start. You don't need you can move decision day before the October FIFA break again.
Now, what about this as a possibility?
2-leg aggregate, then the 2-leg aggregate first round. That way, both teams get a home game, which was the whole reason for this 3-game series bullshit.
Now, what about this as a possibility? If you expanded the rosters and you add, say, 10 players on each team, and then you condense it to a game every 5 days, every 6 days, or even if you have to, like a Wednesday, Saturday format, so you cram it in a little bit more without the risk of fatigue. That could be a possibility. It would water down some of the talent, granted, but I think that is a plausible way of doing this. Where you already
have teams that aren't using their full allotted number spots because they don't want to.
Well,
there isn't a hard roster limit. Like the Union, I think you can have up to 25 spots. The Union are only using like 21. I those numbers are not exact. If we had
LA with an opportunity here,
LAFC had their first chance there.
Yep, and still nothing. Yeah, this game might end up being no score at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
I think we might get one goal before halftime.
Okay.
I mean, Columbus has had chances. Columbus has had a few chances. So
worst teams would be difficult for. They already basically changed the schedule around based on popularity. So NYCFC, ironically being one of the less popular teams in the league, has played 3:30 games, which personally for me is a lot easier to get in and out. But they have done that in certain cases. Derby games will usually go Saturday nights.
The Wednesday-Saturday format is here to stay.
Yeah,
because Apple was the one that made the format. They may I think they might stagger some of the weekend game times a little more. Mm-hmm. But I think when the Wednesday-Saturday format is here to stay.
Pass across. Now,
with the one game with the Sunday game of the week with Fox.
Now, in my conversations with the teams, I've talked to them about this. They do like the new scheduling format. They like the predictability of saying, okay, Saturday night, 7:00, bam, we're going to go. And another shot across. Boy, Columbus is really putting the screws on, but still
getting close. Getting close.
Yeah. But this is where one of those situations where you put on so much pressure that if you let down a little bit, suddenly you give up that first goal instead of scoring the first one. But Columbus is really putting on a good display, at least for the moment.
Ooh, yeah. Even switching over, I'm still behind you guys. Damn.
Do all that, yeah.
So as a general comment, just to let you know regarding, we're going back because this is related to soccer and Mr. Lionel Messi. We were talking about Miami. They said that the contract with Ohtani is
we haven't talked about that yet, please.
It's the largest pact in sports history, but the one he broke was the one by Lionel Messi, who previously held the record for one contract, which was $674 million.
Yeah, well, the Messi deal was 58.3. So
we're going back.
That was just one.
This is Barcelona contract.
Yeah, one of the Barcelona contracts. So
the last one was that cost them to get bankrupt.
Yeah. But is this I was going to say, is this the largest single season per year contract of all time? Because Ohtani's getting
no, because soccer players, there's some like Ronaldo.
Ronaldo got like $100 million from the Saudi league.
Yeah, they make more.
I know, like Lewis Hamilton has gotten like massive deals like that, but I'm not sure as far as like a sport like this goes.
It basically blows away the MLB because the largest ones were Scherzer and Verlander.
The numbers in the Premier League are getting pretty nuts too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll say this one thing. I'm talking too much. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
This is my last thing. The LA Dodgers have $102 million on their payroll in 2032. Gentlemen, go.
I don't know if baseball will be making that much money by then, but they have enough money. They're run by a hedge fund. This is what Cohen is trying to do with the Mets. He straight up said it. He wants to be Dodgers East. All right, we have a chance here, and
nope.
Columbus has been in the offensive end this whole first half.
This is Columbus's third quarter of that first half.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the 29th minute. Still no score.
Nothing on that.
But Scott, you said it. The more and more chances Columbia has, the higher the probability then all of a sudden LAFC gets the first goal.
Exactly. The more mistakes. And I saw this with NYCFC a lot. They were so strong at the end of the first half, but they would let up a little bit and they would give up a goal. It was difficult.
So has the New York City or New York State government approved the new stadium?
It's pretty close to being done. Yeah.
Done deal.
Yeah, we can argue that it is.
Okay.
There's still.
You said close to being done, not done. I'm guessing somebody is still waiting.
There's a couple of little glitches in there because it's a lot of legal stuff, but it's enough that you can say, yeah, we got a thing going.
It's New York.
Oh. PK.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Well,
That was
this
kinda
is the
dubious.
penalty kick. How much you want to bet Cucho's going to take this? Because Cucho's like goal.
Oh yes, okay, yeah.
Handball?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Handball, yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a
Oh,
blatant
yeah, there
one
it is.
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
It went off his shoulder and then it rolled on his hand. Yeah.
but the question is
All
always:
right, let's see.
Was that handball intentional?
It was in the box. It was in the box. It doesn't matter.
I like the comment by Kyle that the Dodgers are the Yankees West.
Yeah.
It's true
Yeah.
because they've only won one championship in the last 20 years as well. So,
But look, can I point out?
And it was a COVID season,
Exactly.
so it has an asterisk next to it anyway.
yeah.
Wilfred Nancy is a really cool guy. I would love to be able to get to know that guy better. I was on a couple press conferences with him this week. He is he's such a chill Canadian.
He is. When the Columbus Crew season opened, the season opener was Columbus at Philly this year.
Mm-hmm.
When they started doing both teams' press conferences, they're still fighting. LAFC is still fighting this, but they are going through the penalty shot, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's going to be Cujo, which it has to be. Cujo's goal percentage is insane when it comes to this.
He's no Daniel Gazdag, but he's pretty automatic from PK.
All right.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I was like, yeah, Cujo's got to be the guy. And yeah. By the way,
Going Capo. Let's see where we go here.
Yeah. By the way, this may be your commercial. And there's goal number 1. Yep. Cujo Hernandez with the PK at the
automatic
minute. And Columbus is up 1-0. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Gonna have to change the ticker now, by the way.
Yeah, for those scoring at home, that was PK to the bottom left of the net, 31st minute. 1-0 Columbus.
There we go, and save that and change that. There we go.
JD at halftime will discuss some Jets news.
Yeah. By the way, can I just point out one of the things that basically Cujo does so well is he knows how to trick a goaltender. He is so automatic because for whatever reason, if you watch, and Crepeau's a great goalkeeper, he really is. But if you watch it with this case, with so many, they go the wrong way. They never figure out exactly which way he's going to go. And this is another example of why he is. I mean, I think he had 3 or 4 PKs this year, and Cujo having this one is no surprise. Columbus right now has been so good with that, and again, because of the rain, it's going to make offenses be a little more sluggish here. And that could make this tougher for LAFC to come back. Because this is the one thing that LA did not want right now. They did not want to give up a lead.
And they need for LA to have the chance. They need to score early and take the crowd out of it. You don't have. That's exactly what they didn't do here.
Yeah, and this is, like I said, this is where the issue is going to be. And now the crowd's into it. The team is fired up. Oh yeah, this. By the way, anybody who's watching this, if you guys are fans of the Columbus Crew and might want to consider covering the team for us next year, let me know. LAFC too, but trying to work mainly east. We're trying to work mainly east next year a little bit, with the exception of maybe Seattle. But drop us a message in the comments. Drop me a message at info@streampunkent.com, and who knows? We'll talk. But that rain looks terrible though.
Oh, it isn't just raining; it is absolutely pouring.
Yeah,
out there now. The pretty boys from LA are getting wet. Boo hoo.
Dry your tears on Otani dollars.
Now it's pouring.
By the way, the odds of a Columbus win has just skyrocketed to 69%, and LAFC's chance of winning has dropped to 11% after that goal. That's huge.
I know I predicted 3-2, but I don't see this being a 3-2.
What are you thinking now?
It's probably going to be lower than that. Maybe 2-1.
Yeah, I think you were right. I think you were right on the 2-1.
2-1, 2-0, 3-0. I don't think LAFC is going to score.
I think that it might open up. We'll see what the weather does, but I think we'll get a few more in the second half.
Wow.
But Columbus scoring first is absolutely huge.
But here's the thing: Columbus can't take their foot off the pedal either, because that's going to allow,
think they will.
Bouanga to come back. So
I could see Bunaga or something setting a goal, but everything is playing in Columbus's favor right now.
Yeah, 100%. My God, yeah. And I like I said, Columbus now. Rain beat. Oh, we got another turnover. It's funny. Actually, I kind of base everything based on Sammy's reaction because he sees this before we do.
Oh,
like that.
Yeah, I switched to a live feed and 2-0.
Really? So you're ahead of me because I don't see it.
I was trying to get matched. I went a few different ways. I just went rabbit ears.
I just saw it now. So it is 2-0. This is over.
Holy crap!
This game's over.
There is.
Wow. 37th minute, 2-0 Columbus. Ooh, this could be getting late early.
Well, this may not go to overtime then.
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude! This is exactly what LA did not need. So.
Okay,
however,
I'm changing my prediction again. I don't think it's gonna be that close. It could be a blowout.
Here's
the funny thing. Okay.
I can see
Yeboah from the middle of the box on a breakaway.
Yeah, Yeboah with wow.
And he was clear. He was onside.
He was 100% onside.
He just took it. He just took off.
Wow, dude, this is.
And did you see it? He tapped it in with his weak foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got the job done, though.
Yeah.
He tapped it in with his weak foot. Look at that.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to ask both of you guys. This goes into halftime. You're down 2-0. What does Steve Cherundolo tell his team right now? Tell LA.
They may have to open it up.
They have to.
They may have to open it up. They may have to change formations. They may have to put in another offensive-minded player and take out somebody, a defensive midfielder or something. If you're down 2-0, that's probably the only option.
Yeah. Now the problem with the antenna is that it drops in and out.
How's the weather by you?
Man, I'm on the wrong side of the house. That's the problem.
I'll tell you right now. I have to check.
I wonder if maybe I can speed this up a little bit on my side. Nope. Never mind. I just got a brand new Fire Stick because all the Fire Sticks in my house died literally at the same time. So they all literally kicked out the same week.
My wife jokes. My wife complains sometimes, but what I do is when they're half price, 70% off on Amazon, I just accumulate them and keep them in my house. So when they break down, boom.
Not a bad idea.
That's what I do.
Taking it off of this TV was a bitch today.
I keep.
I
just got a Roku.
Got a Roku stick with a I got a Roku stick I need to set up.
By the way,
I'll be taking that with. That'll be good to take with me
when it's under $20 or $15, and I just buy them, just keep them in my closet. And when like my daughter, when she came back home, I put a TV in her room, and she said, "Oh, this is not working." I'm like, "Here, put another one in." Because the kids, the only thing they do is watch streaming. They don't watch regular TV. So I just like, here, I don't have to put a cable box in the room or anything. Just put the streaming, done.
Yeah. That's how everybody's doing it. And I see it more being at my mom's house and just how much stuff is just unnecessary.
Yeah.
We have 3 cable boxes in this house. Fortunately, I pay for none of them now. Since my mother-in-law moved in, she pays the cable and the internet, which is fine for me. Internet I use. Cable, I don't pay for anymore because it's like $200 a month. So, and because I'm not paying it, I don't care as much.
Yeah.
But,
Well, also since my mom is in the middle of nowhere in the Pineys, it's basically if you want internet, it's either Comcast or satellite. There are no other choices. So they got you. Where even if you drop it, where I looked into the pricing, where even if she dropped it to internet only, it's only like $20. It's only like $25 savings. Like it's still over $100 just for internet. They got you by the cojones either way for that. So.
It's like that bit from South Park about the cable company. It's like, oh, you want to try and change? Oh, I'm sorry, we can't send anybody out there for at least 5-6 hours. By the way,
now what you could do is you could remove your boxes, put the streaming, and then install the app that's related to the cable company, and you get the same. The same regular TV channels.
Yeah, like that. When I was just going back and forth between feeds just now, I just tried it with because I don't have an actual cable subscription at my house. We just patch together the streaming services, and I have digital antennas. So Apple TV was far behind you guys. I switched to YouTube TV and to watch the Fox through there. That was still behind, so I flipped to the antenna, which is now ahead. It just goes pixelated once in a while because the antenna is over here, but the towers are that way. So,
kind of reminds me of that bit from Married with Children. It was like, assume Fox viewing.
Zoom Fox positions.
Oh God!
But because of that and the NFL coverage, Fox got better affiliates with better signal strength in a lot of cities because of that.
But now in this case, looking back at this for right now. Just to give an update on what the stats are, Columbus has an 89% chance of winning. LAFC has a 3% chance, with 8% chance going into overtime. So clearly, like I said, this is a big factor here. But when you're LA, you have to look at this from the standpoint that one goal gets you right back into this. Just chip away bit by bit. With a team like Columbus, they're not the type to necessarily play on their heels right now. But if you're LA, like you guys said, you have to press here. You have no choice but to.
2-0 is the most dangerous lead in soccer. Gives you a false sense of security where that's the biggest swing. But where you could go to 3-0 and the game is more or less over, or 2-1 and then you're backpedaling like
Yes.
And I've seen it where
because
in when the Union played Cincinnati at home earlier this year, they were up 2-0 at halftime, and then they gave up 2 quick goals. They should have had a third one, but it was offside. So what became we could run away with this and maybe have a shot at at beating the Supporter Shield winners and maybe make a run for this, But then it was just nope. Yes, exactly. I have seen many 2-0 leads blown this year.
All right, so I'm going to pose a question to you guys. You asked Scott. You asked the question of what LAFC should do. Okay, let's 2-0 halftime. Let's see if that ends that way. What do you think Columbus is going to do? Do you think they're going to play the same way, or are they going to park the bus and say, "We're going to, let's play back. We're happy with 2-0. Let's get the cup this way."
JD, you want to roll first?
I could see them going either way with that. I don't think they go to full on park the bus, at least not at halftime. Not last 20 minutes, maybe. But they're not going to. I don't think they're going to switch to that right away.
Okay.
I think what they're going to do is they may have a few substitutions. They may use halftime to substitute out a lot of fresh legs, especially with the overtime that happened last week. Get fresh bodies in there. You've done exactly what you needed to for the first half.
Yeah.
So
Columbus corner coming up.
That's the fourth corner of this match. And by the way, LAFC has not had a single corner yet. So in this case, if they go in the half at 2-0, they've done their job. They've done what they needed to. They understand in this case.
Interesting how they played this.
But I'm
going to say something on this last one. Did you notice who was on defense trying to stop that long shot?
Who's that?
It was Vela.
Makes sense.
Oh,
yeah. It was Vela. Where were the defenders on that?
Because in this case, they're all playing up.
3-minute stoppage added on.
Yep.
And another Columbus corner.
That I found interesting. When do you see a 9 go
Mhm.
back on a counter, and he's the last man standing trying to stop that play? I found that interesting.
What else is interesting, and this is now the second corner in a row where Columbus isn't attacking, right? They're not kicking directly into the
I've noticed that,
front. They just kicked it back out. So maybe we do see more of a park where they weren't attacking. They played back in both those last 2 corners.
I believe that Columbus will press to get a third goal. At that point, then they will play back. And
we have a foul with somebody down.
But I think, like I said, I can expect 2, maybe 3 substitutions by Columbus by the end, going into the second half. Get some fresh legs, and Cucho stays on. Your big guys will stay on.
The only way Cucho comes off is if you carry him off.
I have a question.
You have to leave him in because of his presence. But
I have a question. Murillo, who plays for LAFC, didn't he play for the Red Bulls?
Who's that?
Murillo. I think he's one of the center backs for LAFC. Didn't he play for the Red Bulls? Oh, look, another Red Bull, former Red Bull.
Did Ilya ever play? Let's see, Sporting KC.
So Aaron Long is not a starter?
Not today, I don't think he is. No.
Aaron Long is not starting today.
Nope.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
What was the name you were looking for?
Murillo. Oh. He's one of the center backs.
Yeah. He played for Sporting KC. I saw, but
okay. I must have been another Murillo. I thought I had seen him play for Red Bull, but he only played like 1 year, maybe.
But I think the most famous ex Red Bull right now is Matt Miazga for all that dumb crap.
Yeah. Well, in this case, like I said, the Players Association league came out and like, officiating is not accountable.
Well, it's one thing to have bad officiating. It's another thing to lie on the match report about the events that occurred that had witnesses saying that it wasn't as bad as they were making it out to be. I mean, yeah, Miazga is a jerk and shouldn't have gone back there, and he shouldn't have blown kisses to the crowd, taunting and not expecting a card.
They just missed.
Yeah, see, this is what they have to do.
Yeah.
They got to give it to Bowanga. They got to make him available. They got to basically open everything up as much as possible. They got to make his presence be found. But
right,
that was
probably the last play of the.
Yeah, but they finally get their first corner of the game too. So let me fix that.
Oh,
Kill AFC 1.
Airbound, still bouncing.
So
and that's it.
Yep.
So we are 2-0 at halftime. Columbus up on LAFC.
So, thoughts, takeaways of the first half, Sam?
So, they've been dominating Columbia. Columbia's dominated the whole game. Now it's a matter of what's going to be their approach for the second half. Are they going to play the same as before? Are they going to make the subs like you mentioned? Are they going to just stay back and be conservative to avoid,
They play aggressive till 75 is my thinking.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be the questions. And then on the LAFC side, are they going to make changes and just start, okay, let's put some more offensive power in the lineup. Forget about the defense. We're down 2-0.
Yeah. But this, like I said, I find ironic because Malte Amundsen, he sort of fell out of favor in NYCFC. He was not getting playing time. He was a kid who had the talent, but just never seemed to fit into the new system with Nick Cushing. And here he is 45 minutes away from literally his second MLS title in 3 years. Fascinating, man. But yeah, Cucho with a penalty kick, Yeboah with a goal 4 minutes later.
There's a player on Columbus where I believe this would be his fourth, his third title with his third different team.
Mm-hmm.
I forget which player it was.
But no, this has gone exactly the way Columbus needs it to. I think there's a lot. There's still a massive. 45 minutes in an MLS title game may as well just be viewed as an entire game in and of its own right.
Yeah.
So
it's halftime. So I'm stepping away for a second.
Sure. Yeah. Now do what you need. It's all good. Halftime, I'll probably have to do the same at some point. But
let me get
Sammy. In your case, any predictions for what to expect the second half? What do you feel? Because I think you asked us if Columbus is going to be taking their pressure off. What do you think they're going to do?
To me, probably what you mentioned before about let's play the same way for the till the 75th minute, and then just play back. Just park the bus. We're good. I think from minute 45 to 75, they're going to try as hard as possible to get that third goal.
Yes.
Once they get that third goal, then they said, okay, let's park the bus.
Now, if you go, but
it will also depend on what Columbia does. Does LAFC make any changes at halftime? I think that'll dictate what Columbia may do as well.
It's funny. I don't know what kind of changes they might make in this regard.
If they don't make any changes, they're done.
They might have. Obviously, in this case here, they may be forced to start making some moves here. But your front of Oliveira, Vela, and Bawanga has got to clearly stay. But the question is, what else do you do?
I just found it odd.
You mentioned Aaron Long. Maybe Aaron Long goes in.
I just found it odd. I just found it odd on that counter when they went, when there was a long shot, long pass, that it was Vela that was at the end on the other side defending it.
Yeah, why was he playing back?
That tells me, are the center backs, or is that back line tired? Are they not focused? Are they not motivated? For Vela to, and that shows me what you said before. This could be his last game. He doesn't want to go down. He's doing everything in his power to try to win this game. He has more heart than some of those other players there. Where the hell was Chiellini and these other guys? So that would worry me. That they're not motivated. To do what Vela did. Vela didn't have to do that. Vela's center forward. He's the first one back. I'm like, I've never, that's odd.
Now, my other question to you in this particular case is, suppose Vela leaves LAFC. Now, you just lost a guy with 12 assists this past year and 11 the year before. What does that do to the offense and honestly, Denny Bawanga and the impact that he has had offensively for that team?
Well, they'll probably get someone else. That's the
But how do you replace that?
Some other players, they'll probably get another designated player that that could substitute him. Somebody younger. They may get somebody in South America that they're looking for. That's cheap as of now. That could develop in the MLS. That's not ready to be signed in Europe, because what we usually do, let's go through the US, we'll go MLS, and then if they score their 30 goals or whatever, 15 assists, whatever, then they buy them from there, because that's been the model now in recent years. They're not ready for Europe. Why are you going to put them in Europe? They're going to be sitting on the bench. They're not going to play a lot. Put them in MLS. It's becoming more popular. Develop them there, and then let's get get a great big transfer fee and move on.
Very possible. It'll be curious to see what happens in LA, in the off season here. But credit to, getting back for the second year in a row. Credit to Steve Tarungula, because he came in last year and immediately LAFC won, and now here he is back. Yeah. Very quiet guy too. I was very quiet, very just, kind of introspective sort of, Nancy though, like I said, Nancy, He's got charisma. He's got panache. I liked that part of him. And I remember looking at him and thinking to myself, yeah, I could hang with a guy like this. Jim Curtin is the same kind of guy. Where Jim Curtin, Nick Cushing, you have these head coaches who are just likable guys that you're like, yeah, I can drink with them. Ronnie Dyla never really had that with NYCFC. He didn't have that quite approachability that Cushing or Nancy had, or Jim Curtin, and that's where I think, on our side of the fence, it's a little easier because they're more open to being honest. They're more open to being real, I mean, we had some conversations, in press conferences and like post game, when NYCFC had like 6 ties in a row. And you can tell Nick Cushing was absolutely 100% tired of answering, why do we have a draw here? Why do we have a draw here? Because head coaches get burned out, but in this case, like I said, Nancy, he has done a phenomenal job, coming over from Montreal, taking over this Columbus squad. Obviously, what's happening here, it's a lot to be excited about for Columbus. And you know what? They're 45 minutes away from another win.
Good for them.
Yeah. Good for them. And like I said, Cucho, that one right there, that is such that penalty kick right there. And obviously, again, who else can take that PK but Cucho? So that PK by Cucho set the tone for this entire match, because that first goal made such a massive difference. And if LAFC had gotten that, we see a totally different game here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is LAFC only managed a total of 4 shots overall and only 1 on goal. That cannot exist for the second half. There's no way you can have that team be able to do that. Credit in this case on the other side of the fence, 8 shots, 2 on goal for Columbus, both of which actually went in. But possession, 69%, which is usually indicative of a team that's playing behind normally. So typically when you have a team, I forget the stats, but if you look at the stats, a lot of times teams that have a lower percentage, a lot of times have more scoring opportunities because they take a shot on goal. And then the goalkeeper kicks it and goes back. So in this case, you're seeing the opposite. 69%, 8 shots on goal. They have dominated every single category here all the way down.
And I think is what we talked about before. I think it's a combination of what you guys said about they've played in so many tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably tired.
Could be.
The second part, like I told you, motivation. I mean, that, like, I'm going to go back to that whole Vela instant replay. I'm like, what's going on here? That told me something that, like, I don't think they're invested here 100%.
They could be a little off their game right now. That's possible.
When I saw that, you don't see that. Like, I'm just comparing it. You don't see on a counterattack, I see Rolando running down to for the last offensive play to try to block the shot. So that I found concerning.
Now, in this case, what's going to be interesting is, with Leagues Cup next year, a lot of times teams that do play the extra one, you saw this issue with Philadelphia, and Jim Curtin did this during a lot of press conferences, where their offense started to drop later in the season because the team is getting burned out. This is something that I remember we talked early in the beginning of the season. It's like, expect this team to get burned out because those games early on are great and then start to drop. So you saw that when you may be right with LAFC, they could be facing fatigue more than the team that has faced multiple overtime games in this playoffs in the form of Columbus.
And again, if you don't have the depth behind, if you don't have a good bench to try to, bring in new people, that this is going to happen. If you're relying on a rotation of close to maybe 14, 15 players, that's not going to help. That's not going to help. All right, so I'm going to do a refill. JD just did the handoff. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm back. I'll be right
I might
back.
actually pop out.
All righty. As you were saying before with the union, the coaches definitely get tired of, because you could tell where I don't want to bash a player, but I'll just say that, and I don't mean this as bashing, but just, people were very vocal about this, that Mikel Ua was not playing up to designated player salary level for big chunks of the season, let's say. But you still, out there busted his ass, but just the goals were just not coming, and people were asking him about that, and he was getting upset. Yeah.
Well, again,
apparently Gus is trying to join us. I just
saw that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But see, that's where, like I said, in this case, I have a problem with sports writers. So a lot of times, where a lot of times
trying to start up shit just to
exactly, dude.
clicks.
You know,
I don't like doing that.
You know, and for me, a lot of times it was funny because I would start out a lot of the NYCFC press conferences, you know, and they could lose 3-0 on the road to Cincinnati, and I'm like, well, Tyler Magno had a good game. How do you feel about that? Where a lot of the other guys would be like, hey, so your guys sucked. Yeah. Why do you think they sucked so much? It's like, your entire team sucks right now.
The biggest key, here's something I learned from one of my writing mentors, the late great JP Pelsman. From Forbes,
that aged well.
Yeah, that was great. Like and writers like that. There's no drama that I can cry about. Like, let him. Otani's a private guy. He's entitled to decide his job of where he's going to spend. It's a life change. You need to remember these are humans, and these are life changing choices that they're making, just like any other Joe and Jill Schmo out there with, that's deciding, whether or not to leave for another job. So just because they have more zeros on the end of their salary does not change the fact that they're humans that should be treated with respect. And I think a lot of people, especially in media, lose a handle of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And I'd like to see more of that. And what I learned, the big thing I learned from JP is that because he was the guy who had the first question, at Seton Hall press conferences for a long time. And that first question sets the tone for what the writers following up ask. If that first writer, whoever it is, for whatever team, if they come out guns blazing, that puts the coach on the defense where now he's ready to blow up. And some media do that just because they want the reaction, but I don't see the value. I see the entertainment value in it, but I don't want to do that to people that I want to maintain a good relationship with.
I have been known as a corporate,
but they absolutely should be held accountable for. But that being said, coaches should be held accountable accordingly. Basically, don't hide. Talk.
I'll be right back, by the way. I'll be right back.
So, JD, so it's just us. So, just to give you updates.
All right.
It looks like that the Jets are going to have their 10th different O-line combination because Wes Shelzer, who was their right guard, who had just already come back from IR, re-injured his calf. So now they put him on IR again. He's done for the season.
Oh, man.
They signed some guy named Jacob Hansen to elevated him. And the other thing is from Rich Cimini, Jets signed Tristan to a 2-year, $5 million contract, $3.2 million guaranteed, and they got 6 games and 140 snaps out of him.
Money well spent.
So again, he's tried. I could just say that. It's not like McCann, who didn't care about O-linemen, but it's just bad. Okay, the second half.
Yeah, we are underway. We are underway for the second half in Columbus.
Okay. We didn't get to see. They didn't show if there were any changes, though. It looks like there weren't any subs or changes.
All right. How do I know?
Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to pull up the.
To see if there was any subs.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the Gamecast to see.
So right now, come
on. On ESPN. I know you're not showing the game, but it shouldn't be that hard to find there.
ESPN, I don't think really wants to do a lot with Major League Soccer.
ESPN doesn't like to do a lot for any sports that they don't have the rights for.
Which was funny because I think the XFL or the USFL, there was like no drop down menu for it.
Hey, John, Cal says something funny about what we mentioned before about the Jets. He said at least he had more snaps than Aaron.
Facts. And we have another mate in the chance. No.
Nope. But
Cucho had a good chance in front. In front, we're in the 40s, coming on the 48th minute.
Oh! Let's go. Okay.
But every single minute that gets burned.
Cucho shot right at Crepeau. Rebound.
Every single shot burns more time though.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It looks like Columbus isn't changing their approach.
I don't see any subs.
I think they're going for the knockout team now. I think they're going for the knockout.
As they should.
Well, you talked about the fact that we're going to try and go for that third goal and then take a step back.
Yeah. Neither team made any changes at halftime.
Oh, so either
I nailed the shit out of that one, didn't I?
Yep. Either LAFC is stubborn and they want to keep their way, or they have no plan. I mean, because it hasn't worked in the first half. They haven't made any changes. I mean, that must make Columbus super happy. They're going to go, okay, we're going to just continue.
Yeah. All right.
Also, just looking at their bench, who are they going? Looking at the as LA free kick into the wall, still alive, not, and back the other way. All right, here's the subs available from the starting 11. Whoa! All right. Somebody just got knocked down and no call. Columbus goes all the way through. Ooh. Over the. Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. Yeah.
Oh, come on. I know. Stop.
Yep.
Is it? Let's see if this was actually a bad call. All right. Well, he sold it enough to get a yellow. Let's see the replay here.
Yeah, I got to see the replay. I mean, that was.
All right. Yeah, Vela came up on a challenge.
That was one of the best all-time. Dude, that flop was like that move.
Oh yeah,
GIF worthy.
Yeah, but yeah, Vela did a challenge into Cucho, and Cucho was going for which he did catch him, but he really sold that one. I don't think that was yellow card worthy.
Wow. Yeah. That was good.
Oh God, that was so good. Oh, dude, I'm freaking save. I swear to God, I want to actually clip that thing and save it.
Yeah. So it goes down as a Vela yellow card in the 49th minute.
That was an Oscar-nominated performance.
Yes, very much so.
Wow.
But also, can we talk about the absolute near miss opportunity by LA there? You've got to make that stuff.
Yeah. So here's the subs available off the bench for LA. McCarthy's the backup goalie. Then you have Maldonado. Apple only posts first initial and last name, so I don't have the first names at all in front of me. We have Long, Palencia, M. Bogus, F. Krastev, N. Ordaz, S. Buick, M. Gonzalez. Maldonado or Long are the only ones I've even heard of from that list that you might be able to get a little spark.
Long as a defender, so.
Yeah.
But, by the way,
but who are you getting an offensive spark from? I don't even have. Yellows do matter in the finals because the second yellow is a red.
Yep, and that's an automatic ejection of the player, and you play down one player for the rest of the match.
Yep.
So it could make a difference here. And with Vela, I mean, honestly, Vela has no choice. He's got to go full throttle anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, especially down 2-0. They have to. The
yellow doesn't.
They don't have a choice.
I mean, but in this case here, if it was a tighter game, yes, it could make a difference. But now you don't have a choice. By the way, that is Columbus's 6th corner to LA's for only one. Switch that up. But yeah, by the way, the official update is that LAFC has a 2% chance of winning this match now. And compared to like I said, Columbus, the corners, the offense, they have dominated every single category all the way down. Strong run passes, pass accuracy, lower number of fouls, yellow cards, corners. 4 shots on goal to only 1. They have done everything that they have needed to do in this match. And that's one of those things that, like I said, with every second chipping away, this is something that is making it more and more likely Columbus is going to take this win. No, it does not. Not after a game, it doesn't. Yeah. At this point, I don't know. I mean, I did predict 2-1. You guys predicted 3-2, which could still very much happen. I mean, listen, you throw full throttle, you throw everything with the kitchen sink. LA will at least probably get 1 goal out of this.
I could see maybe a 3-1. Like they get Columbus gets a 3rd goal, and then they might claw back a first one. But it could go either way. But I really don't see LA getting more than 1.
I'm not convinced the way they're
I don't
playing.
see LA getting more than 1.
I don't see them getting goals. Just to be honest, I thought they were going to make changes, and they didn't.
I was surprised by that also.
And another yellow.
Yeah, this is good call. The Bears 197 to dude. I'm sorry, the Bears do not score 197 points. They will be scored upon 197 points.
Yeah, it was another challenge that could have gone either way, but I see why they gave the yellow there.
And I can almost guarantee the LA fan base is calling foul on the officiating.
Well, they've gotten a lot of gifts along the way in this playoff run, so I don't want to hear it. That Seattle game was an absolute disgrace, and Ted Yunkel is the Angel Hernandez of MLS. That game was a disgrace. So, and then that Vancouver garbage in the first round. I don't want to hear LA complaining about officiating.
By the way,
the league essentially gave them 2 wins already.
Now, the funny thing about this, I don't know if people know this, but every single match has someone called a pool reporter. And the pool reporter, there's only one, but the pool reporter is the one that's allowed to ask up to 3 questions of the FIFA officiating. They can choose to answer the question or not answer the question. It's entirely up to them. But they only allow one to discuss it with FIFA. It's the weirdest freaking setup where you write your questions down on a piece of paper, you hand it to the PR person for their respective team. So in this case, Columbus's PR guy, who would bring it down to the FIFA rep, who brings it to the referees or the officials, who write the answers out on a piece of paper, give it to the official, who in turn gives it to the person who asked the question in the first place. That is how the system works. It is a really fakakta system there. But that is actually how it works when it comes to pool reporting and MLS and probably FIFA. I think FIFA as a whole.
Yeah. I would say, I do want to say props to Jonathan Tannenwald of the Philadelphia Inquirer, who he said that he actually was the one that suggested that to MLS, and they picked that up.
Is he the pool reporter for them too?
He's the pool reporter for the Union, and
okay.
he helped create the pool reporter program. Because before that, it was nothing. This reminds me of, I went to Catholic school, so I'm thinking of like the papal conclaves. Like you're just waiting to see black smoke or white smoke come from the referees with answering those questions or slip an index card back under the door.
Now, I will say this though, I did get a suspension overturned, or at least I believe I did. Because when Richie Ledesma got a red card, I asked about what the league had or the officials had seen. They went through all this kind of stuff. And then middle of the week, his suspension was overturned. They couldn't do anything about the red card. But Richie's suspension got overturned. And I'm kind of like, did I make that inadvertently happen? I don't know. Because in this case, that's why I asked about the pool reporter, because it's on my side too. I don't use it much because I don't want to be that guy, but that red card was a good opportunity to at least learn how the system works.
It's definitely very interesting, and it's a problem in sports, not in all of sports these days. It's just the accountability of officials, and it is a hard job. There's a reason why nobody wants to do it anymore, especially on like a youth level, because parents are insane. Sammy, I'm sure you've seen with all your daughters playing sports. I'm sure you've seen some crazy stuff over the years.
I got a story for you guys on that when you're ready.
Well, I have stuff from a fan side, and also from a parent side, and also from a coaching side. So
I'm sure you've seen.
Parents, so I've seen everything.
I went to my niece's basketball game, and it was just like in a little, like a JV 8th grade kind of thing. And there's this one dude sitting in the stands, piece of shit, he's dropping F-bombs, he's dropping swear words, he's screaming, ref, you're a piece of crap, he's going on and on. I talked to some of the people that we were with, who, and I don't know anything about any of these teams or anything, and it talks like this dude.
They had the best chance there, Vela.
Yeah.
Vela had the best chance.
Vela had a good look
they
there.
Finally get a shot on goal.
He's
long story
he's
short,
playing like this is his last game. He's playing all out.
I think he knows it.
He's playing all out, man.
By the way, long story short, in the end of that story, so I have finality. I talked to basically someone there who's I asked about it. It's like, yeah, that's our special ed teacher.
Oh my
God. There was I know.
Well, New Jersey education, man, gotta love it.
Well, there was one I saw a few years ago where there was some guy at an Eagles game where the TV feeds caught him caught him like going nuts, F bombs, middle fingers flying, with a beer in one hand and flipping off the other, and he was one of the deans of admissions at UPenn.
Did you just hear that the UPenn president just resigned?
Really?
Yep.
Is there some sort of controversy, or I haven't paid attention?
Well, it's the whole issue with I don't want to get in politics, but the whole thing that's happening in the Middle East, and how
it's related to that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's related to that, and how some of the have responded. So she's the first one to go down now.
Let's stop that right there and go to what is going. There's something going on in the game.
60 minutes in, by the way.
Rossi. You have Rossi down for Columbus. Chiellini is in the ref's face, and Chiellini's a dirtbag. Sit the F down.
JD, that's his job. That's what he's always done. Yeah, he's always done that. He did that. He did that with Juventus for like 15 years.
Gotta love it.
Of course, it's the Italians. I say that with an Italian last name myself. But
self-deprecating Italian.
Yeah, but all right, that was another. And then we have Tillman coming out for Bogus, so there's our first sub for LA.
There we go.
Or Tillman out, Bogus in.
Does that help the offense, or is just he has a yellow and let's get him out?
I think it was a bit both.
God.
I think they could tell that Tillman was very close to getting a second yellow card when he got in the ref's face.
There you go.
It's funny. I'm rewatching the Cucho flail. I'm turning it into a GIF. I really am. I have no choice.
Oh yeah, that's an easy one. Yeah. Definitely make a short out of that. Easy.
Oh yeah. You know what? Make a short out of it. Cucho flop for 10 hours. One of those videos where it's like, something for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was amazing. It arguably is one of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, so that one would be a legitimate LA gripe with the officiating, but the rest of it, the rest of this is fine. That other card was deserved.
Oh yeah,
for Tillman there.
There we go.
And there's Amundsen with a yellow for Columbus. All right, it's going to be one of these kinds of second halves. All right. Everybody's frustrated, so we're just going to start knocking the crap out of it.
You knew this was going to happen.
It's going to be one of those kind of games. All right.
Listen, as this guy went on, you knew that was going to be happening.
I hate when they do that. They let it go for the first 63, 64 minutes. Okay, let's start throwing yellows out.
Yeah, because the refs lost control of the game early on. Now they're trying to reel it back, and it's just a mess.
Well, now they try and get it under control a little bit, but
right, but it's usually too little, too late. We have Vela setting up for the free kick.
My dude, Malty,
and over.
And pardon this. There we go. And that's done. Okay, cool. So
Vela's kick over the top.
Fine.
And a header back in. You had Bonaga with another chance, and then it would sailed into the stands.
Yep.
Columbus coming back the other end. We're in the 63rd minute now. Still 2-0 Columbus.
Yeah.
So for those who who know who I support, I got the hat on.
Yeah.
I got the wine glass. So, although I didn't see like 90% of the games because I'm kind of processing that team because of their thinking as to how you invest in a team and how I know they have the programs and stuff like that, but it feels like once they have a talent they have identified, they maybe play 1 year and they either then transfer them to Europe.
It's
like, you have a chance here. Like, you want to bring crowds here to see this talent, and you just 2 or 3 players, you send them out, and then when they go over there, they're not as talented, and then they end up with other teams on the MLS.
Would you say they're using them as an internal feeder program for Leipzig?
Or Leipzig and the other, they have a team in Austria and they have a team in Germany, in 2 leagues.
Yeah.
So they use them for both. But I'm like, give them a chance. Let them play here a few years. After 1 year,
exact same.
Off.
Sounds like the same exact thing CFG does with NYC.
Well, yeah, that's the issue that we've had on this side. And it's funny because also the problem is with RBNY, it gets swallowed up a lot because, personally, my opinion, I think if they went exclusively as Jersey's team, Jersey soccer, I think they would do better. But they chose to go with the New York brand on this case. But as a result, it gets swallowed up between all of the other New York teams. They need to have a self-identity. And I think that would help them because they are not Central Jersey, but they're close to Central Jersey. And I think it helps a little bit.
Harrison is not Central Jersey. Nowhere near Central Jersey.
You know what? Okay, well,
but they are Jersey. They should lean in.
I would agree with Scott with that. I would have no issue if they rebranded and then said New Jersey Red Bulls. I would have no issue with that. Because
that was
now that NYFC is over there, I'm like, there can't be 2 New York teams.
This is not like the Devils versus the Rangers. NYCFC doesn't get a lot of love over there, so you have an opportunity to capture a market. Yep. A lot of us Jersey people, we have a desire to have our own brand. The Devils. The New Jersey Jackals, fine, but in our case, we had the New Jersey Generals. We lost them a second time.
Yeah, but the thing is, in Jersey, there's soccer versus New York.
Yeah,
be honest.
Right.
Jersey is a hub for soccer.
Yes.
Men's, women's. Put a name to the brand. Put a name to the state. So that way, because it's again, you have the first stadium. The Red Bulls had the first stadium that was a soccer only stadium that was basically a miniature version of the soccer stadiums in Europe. The model, how it was built and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Love that stadium. And
that stadium's fantastic.
Yeah.
I used to work at Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield in New Jersey. I'll say this is years ago, so I will say this since they're a former employer where I worked for. The office was right. Yes, way before any of this.
Yeah.
But the building was in Newark, right across from Red Bull Arena. So, like, the cafeteria had a view of the across the river. So, watching the construction of Red Bull Arena, over the course of those years was just fascinating. And it wasn't halfway because I said, "What are they building over there?" And then eventually I figured out, oh, okay, the Red Bulls. I wasn't really into soccer back then, and also, as you said, with the jersey identity, Dan, when he from Game Grumps, when he was on with us, he specifically said that because he grew up a Metro Stars fan. But when Metro Stars went to Red Bull, they essentially abandoned New Jersey.
Oh yeah,
and that upset a lot of people. So that disenchantment, and feeling of, oh, this team abandoned us. That's how Dan became an NYCFC fan. And I think a lot of people just tuned out.
On. That wasn't a yellow.
Stan's getting a little fuzzy over there.
Yeah,
come on.
Okay, I want to go back to this for a second. Kyle mentioned the fact that it's disgusting how they left.
Ilie with the yellow there for a challenge that
wasn't a yellow. That's a foul. Get a free kick. That's not a yellow. Come on.
Now they're starting to dole out yellows hand over fist.
Yeah, but this is stupid now. This is that's when that wasn't a yellow. That wasn't a yellow.
When the New Jersey Nets were on their way to Brooklyn, I remember going on StubHub repeatedly, and you could buy tickets to Nets games for a penny. One upper tier, you can buy 5 upper tier tickets for literally 5 cents plus like $4.99 processing.
Oh, like the last few years when after they got out of Izod and were playing in Prudential before as the lame duck years
at that time. But
that was also the team. That was also a team that went 12-70 one year, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea that you can buy 5 tickets for a nickel, I mean, dude, listen, if you get 4 or 5 people together, or you get a bunch of like 5-year-old kids who don't care anything, then it's 100% worth it, I think. But I
was in Miami a few years ago, and we could have done that. I didn't realize that the Mets were playing down there at the same time, but like we checked out my friend and I went to a Heat game. But we didn't find out until too late, or otherwise we would have done a Mets Marlins game down there. It's the same thing. Like it was like $5 on StubHub, for a game in April in Miami that otherwise nobody cared about.
Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't look like now. It's more and more looking like it's going to either stay this way, or Columbus is going to get another goal.
Yeah,
I don't see LAFC scoring another goal.
Now that we're into 70 plus at this point, yeah.
Anytime LA has been trying to challenge, but when they're trying to really fight back, they're getting called for yellows. So that throws off any kind of momentum that LA is starting to build. It's been thrown off by the yellows, some of which are justified, some of which are but that is definitely preventing LA from building any kind of momentum, and Columbus can just kind of. Like Columbus has already dictated the pace of this game.
By the way, just for your own enjoyment. There you go.
Look at that. Look at all the rolls. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So I quick put that together when you guys were talking. I had to. I threw it on my Twitter too.
Yeah. Make sure you get the rolling pin out for the dough on your holiday cookies for baking this season.
It rolled off screen. There we go. Put that out. But
I want the internet to make a Cucho rolling pin now.
Oh my god, yeah. I'd love for that thing to go viral. It'd be so hilarious. But oh god. But yeah, I probably will turn that into a video of like Cucho rolling for 10 hours. I'll throw music on it or something.
Yeah.
No.
You could probably do one similar to that for Neymar.
Oh yeah. Well, but it's funny because I have one of the next videos I was going to be doing for the channel is going to be like soccer flops, and I've already found out what's clear, what's not. But it's funny because you look at
They had a chance.
I will say this:
Bunaga just had a chance there, but just he didn't get a straight look. It went through. It went through the 5-hole.
It went right through.
It went there.
But now it's just a throw in for Columbus on that. But
every
waiting second.
There was nobody to get that cross. Wow. But they had him dead to rights, but there was just nobody there to pick that up. That was LA's chance there.
That was and every LA player knew it. Actually, probably everybody in the pitch knew it.
Yeah.
You know, and Columbus is like, oh, thank God. You know. Actually, is it still 7-6?
Where's Bunaga from?
Buanga's from France.
Huh?
France.
He's French?
He's French, yeah. Denis Buanga, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was a conversation that happened with Wilfred Nancy, where they were talking about both their French origins between them, and apparently they'd known each other for a little while previously.
Is he on that? Is he even on? Has he been considered even for the national team? Is he playing for the national?
He might have been. I would say if he wasn't before, I'm sure he would be after 20 goals this year.
Okay.
I mean, that golden boot was impressive. I'll say this though. And this is interesting because I had all 20 goals for Denis Buanga, who's Golden Boot, and I had all 16 regular season MLS goals by Cucho. The Cucho video blew up over the Buanga video. So the Columbus Crew fan base seems to be a lot stronger than the LAFC fan base.
Internationally, Buanga plays for his home country is Gabon.
Gabon.
Oh, really? Okay.
So he is French, but he's He plays for the Gabon flag.
You see now LAFC is making 3 changes.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense though, you know.
At the 75th minute. Okay.
You got to get fresh legs in there at some point.
Okay.
But it's funny, you look at the fans, you can see the anxiety on their face right now. So, by the way, I believe that's only the third shotgun goal for Columbus or for LA. You know, and that last one was straight on target too.
Here we go.
Be interesting to see what happens here, but yeah, LA. This is the concern that I've got a little bit with this. Yeah. Another shot. Was that offside though?
I don't think so. I think that was good.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna wait. All right,
let's see. All right, here's the replay coming up. We got. Yeah, it was a failed cross failed clear from Columbus.
Yeah, okay. All right.
He got his own rebounds and then.
And suddenly cuts the lead in half.
Bunaga from the center of the box with the but it was saved. But he got his own rebound and put it in from point blank range.
And LAFC
2-1.
God, did they ever need that?
Yeah, so that's the spark LA needed. As we said, 2-0 goals, dangerous.
You felt
so now we got. Yeah. So it is now 2-1. When the 75th minute.
You felt like basically LA was starting to basically work their way back on this. You know, like they were getting their legs, they're putting their thing. You know, maybe they needed that first half to kind of just get themselves structured a little bit. But But I mean, there's still. Here's the thing. Now, what does Columbus do to handle this? You know, because the
more pressing manner for Columbus is that Patrick Schultz, the goalie, is still down on the field.
Yeah, that's a concern.
They're checking him for a concussion right now.
This is weirdly reminiscent of last year. You know, with the goalie going down.
Let's see what happened. Oh.
Yeah. This is also going to add a lot of time towards the end, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Schultz on that first Bunaga shot, he saved that with his face. So he took the full liner from Buanga into the face. So they're still doing concussion protocol, checking Schultz out here.
Now I believe
this is also huge because this also now LA now has their momentum shot here because this unintentionally, of course, because LA wants to get right back out there after scoring.
Be right back. Hold on.
Now, I believe
after scoring, they want to keep going, but now
I believe under the rules of the concussion protocol, it does not count as a substitution if you have to take someone out due to concussion protocol. I don't believe so. So
we have another LAFC substitution, Krastev coming in for Acosta.
But it looks like Schulte might be staying in on this too.
Yeah, Schultz is running around and trying to get his bearings back as if he's trying to stay in.
I mean, if they have to legally pull him off for concussion, sure, but
right.
Catch it with your teeth, Nappa. Yay! Somehow pulling a Dragon Ball Z abridged reference into the MLS Cup Finals here. Why not? Can we pull some Rick and Morty here about, something about Rick Prime? How about some Young Justice? Should we throw some Young Justice in here? Just really pop culture.
Right. Now Schultz is staying in. Now Schultz is firing the crowd back up. Like, dude, I'm still going. And that's getting the crowd back into this.
Dude, his staying in has such an impact on that crowd and the team as a whole because he is such a leader in that back end.
And we're underway again. I'd say that was about a 5-minute delay. That was a 4 or 5 minute delay.
People don't realize how much of a leader a goalkeeper has to be because they see everything. People just think they're back there to stop goals. No, those guys are, in a lot of ways, the heart and soul of the squad. And people don't, I think, always see that.
Yeah.
But, it's 2-1 now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I mean, do we actually have overtime for the third straight MLS Cup final?
All right. And we had Columbus breaking up a run there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see basically, you can 100% see where LA is going with all this. And you have to wonder if Columbus maybe took their foot off the gas a little bit too early here. Mm-hmm.
I think they did, but they are still, it's back on the gas now.
They're still on the driver's seat, yes, but.
And a chance to right.
But.
They didn't convert, but they just had a good chance down the other end. In the 79th minute, Cucho tried setting up. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rossi tried to set up Cucho, but Cucho did not have a good line on it, so he was wide left on that shot.
But that's what you still have to do. The clock is still in your favor. You got to keep the pressure going. But I think, like I said, I think we got something, here.
Yeah.
This is gonna be nail biting at the very end of this. And
this is going down to the end.
And basically, someone who's watched most Devils games this year, I am well versed in nail biting finals. I stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch that game against the Kraken the other day. Holy crap on a stick! So
I think that says more about your weird schedules.
Yeah, but yeah, at 80 minutes and plus now.
Yeah, Buonga was, of course, best 11 in MLS this year. But Lucho Acosta from Cincinnati was the MVP.
Yeah.
Another random thought that I had from the watching the Eastern Conference Finals is is Lucho and Cucho a wrestling tag team or a buddy cop show?
Yes. Somebody's still down over there, but now at 80 plus minutes. But if you notice with what's been going on with these shots and these opportunities, it's taken a little bit of the wind out of the sails of LA, just a tiny bit.
Yeah. We have Iboa down on the pitch now for Columbus.
Yep. Iboa big with that second goal that he had.
Chiellini, of course. Of course, Chiellini was involved in that. We're going to get like 8 minutes of stoppage time.
I think we are at this point, yeah. I think it's certainly plausible.
looks like hopefully we can get this in regulation so you can head down to Prudential Center for the Garden State Arbor Classic coming up.
Yeah, it's funny. This has been a crowded little day for me in that regard. You know, I had some stuff I had to handle this morning, so I was unsure if I was going to be able to do this today, but it turned out it was okay. But yeah, tonight, as it happens, 8:30 tonight, I'll be over at the Rock covering the like I said, the Garden State hard classic between Seton Hall and Rutgers, to which I'm hoping for a slightly higher score than last year. You know,
yes, it will be a grinder, but I don't think it's going. I hope it's not another 42-40 game or whatever that was last year.
45-43, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like 45-41. It was a low 40.
It was oh god, yeah.
Yeah, but those Seton Hall Rutgers games are a meat grinder.
Yeah, me and Ernesto are covering that. So.
Yeah. So, and.
That's a reference no one's going to get.
Well, also Shaheen's teams for Seton Hall, they're if Alamir Dawes is not on, they have no shooting from outside at all.
I'm just kind of hoping that I get to see Gary Cullen because that'd be kind of cool.
Just don't fanboy too hard.
Nah.
Yeah,
I really don't fanboy that often, you know.
Yeah,
but. It's weird.
Yeah.
I fanboy more over YouTubers than I actually do, like, you know, celebs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah.
And
hey, cool.
And you can go back and speaking of celebrity interviews, you can go back and see our interview with Dan Avedon from Game Grumps,
yes.
And who's a big NYCFC fan. Yeah, I know that may not appeal to some people, members of our audience, but it's but talking about the game, you know, check it out. Columbus substitution now. Ebola coming out for Kyra. Oh, shoot.
Sure. Yeah. Sherbko.
And Nagbe coming out for Zawadzki.
Yeah, this makes sense at this point at 83 plus minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got already 4 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. But check out our interview with Dan from Game Grumps, who's actually a big soccer fan.
Which honestly is. It's nice because a lot of these folks don't get the chance to talk about the stuff they want to talk about. So weird. The guy on the Cinema Channel, the guy who did the theme to Pokemon, who, by the way, sent us some really cool merch. I got to tell you guys about that. I've been bad about that.
Nice.
But he's big into the Beatles. He runs a Christmas themed pageant with Beatles music, and it's like,
wow,
really, it's really cool. You know, and he blends the whole, you know, birth of Christ, all this kind of stuff, you know, strictly with, like, you know, here comes the sun, you know, and it's honestly, it's pretty damn cool. But unfortunately, it's a live show only. There's no video of it. So
yeah, it sounds very cool.
Oh no, I saw some of the footage from it. And, you know, actually, the funny thing is he's taken the interview we had and putting it on his own channel. So
love it.
But
85th minute here, still raining in Columbus.
Yeah.
Now yellow card for Palacios for a takedown of let's see. Oh, he has his arm. He had he tried to take Cucho's arms and kind of pin them behind his back. Yeah, they'll call a yellow for that.
Yeah, this.
And Cucho's, and after that, Cucho is done for the night, coming out for Gressel.
Yeah,
interesting. There, I guess, or no, I apologize. It's not Cucho coming out. It's 20. It's
yeah.
They were showing it like Cucho was about to come out. I'm like, really? There, no, it's 20. It is 23. That's Muhammad Farsi coming out.
Yeah, well, somebody else is coming in.
I figured they were going to start burning a lot of these
Dressel
earlier,
coming in.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, listen, trust Nancy, right? But,
yeah, they haven't updated the sub windows, but I think it's 3 subs used by each team so far.
Yeah, okay, they're at their 3. Yeah.
So Scott, how much are you going to win into the pool?
Nothing. This is just for pride. So
yeah, that was Farsi coming out for Gressel. Was that last sub, and that was Columbus's 3rd sub.
So it's funny on Twitter. There's a debate right now because I posted
Hernandez out for Ramirez. But yeah, Cucho came out for Ramirez. So yeah, Cucho did come out. Yeah.
I put the GIF up on Twitter a few minutes ago, and apparently all the LAFC fans are now commenting on it about how it was a flop because they're pretty salty right now.
Be salty.
Oh boy.
Don't.
It's like, well, could you imagine being like an LAFC fan and like an Anaheim Angel fan today? If LAFC,
I don't know how many of those exist.
Otani in the process. You lost Otani for
and now we have LA bringing the guns out. That's Ilie coming out. Ilie and Palacios coming out for Palencia, and I didn't see the other So LA's trying to throw fresh legs out there to give one final run for the equalizer.
Wow, we're in the 86th minute.
Yeah, Ilie came out for Gonzalez. It's a little late to be doing this in the 87th minute.
I have to go with the
80th minute, 75th minute, 86th minute.
I don't believe the officials have been really that bad today. I mean, I think they've had worse games in this playoffs, but
by MLS standards, these refs are not that bad.
Yeah, I think they've been okay. I mean, they kind of more or less kind of let it roll for the most part.
I think the only reason if they put them in the 86th minute, that means the stoppage time is going to be at least 5-6 minutes.
There's going to be like 8 minutes of stoppage times because the concussion protocol by itself was like 4 or 5 minutes.
There you go. So that's the answer. That's probably why they put them in so late.
Yeah.
But right now we're closing in on 90 minutes. Columbus is hanging on to a 2-1 lead right now, but we're looking at 5 to 8. Who knows?
And LAFC's out of subs. They've used all 5.
Who's out?
LA.
Okay. All right. So that's all they got now.
They use all for they're all done.
But Columbus burning clock and taking every opportunity they can, even to pick up with the goals, whatever shots they can do. But right now, says Columbus has an 85% chance of winning, LAFC 2%, and a 13% chance for extra time. So even with being down a goal, the odds makers are not giving LA much of a shot of actually getting the equalizer. But
they get a free kick here.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny if you look at the fans, nobody's moving right now. They are just so absolutely still with terror. There's no energy. There's no hype. It's just God. It's like looking at a matte painting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Good pressure there. And Bouanga with the goal for LAFC earlier in the 74th minute. Oh, Chiellini's whining now. Oh, shut up.
What's up now?
Chiellini was tied up with Schultz.
No, he didn't do anything. I don't know why he's complaining. He didn't do anything. Just walk away.
I didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. Just walk away.
He was offside. They said Chiellini was offside. That's what he's whining about.
Oh, okay.
And the way he ran into Schultz there. He unnecessarily bumped into a goalie who was just knocked down.
He didn't do anything.
But also at the same time, it burns a little bit more clock, very possibly on this, and truth be told, if Schultz gets a yellow card, it's not going to matter.
All right. And Columbus is going in with their last sub right now.
You take as a goalkeeper.
Molino coming in for Rossi, who just got a yellow card. So
if you're a goalkeeper right now, you happily take that yellow card for a delay of game in a moment like this. Don't make it a red, but you have that one yellow card you can burn right now. So fully expect Schulte maybe.
And how much stoppage time? We got 7 minutes. Stoppage coming up.
So
7.
If he gets a stop, he will take that yellow card to burn as much clock as he can go.
Yeah. Rossi out, Molino in was the last sub for Columbus.
All right. This is the ball game. But like I said, will this be the first time in 3 years that we have an MLS Cup final that does not go to overtime or PKs?
Okay.
As much as I love I love PKs and shootouts as a personal rule. I know I'm in the minority on that. MLS Cup Finals with PK is amazing, but I'm kind of burned out on them at this point, for at least for the finals, because it would be a half an hour plus before we even get there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as soon as this game is over, if it ends in regulation, I'll pop out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we'll stick around for the trophy. It's in this boat.
Yeah, we don't. We don't need to do too much on the trophy presentation. But we are at second minute of stoppage time. Still pressure.
Yep.
This hasn't been as much as I thought. LA would be throwing the kitchen sink out here, but we're not really seeing
they're
that.
playing a little more reserved, yeah. But I mean, also there was the Cucho threat, but that's not an issue now.
Meanwhile, right as we say that,
yeah, ahead of time. Can LAFC pull off, the tiebreaker and make a brand new game out of this?
Oh,
Nope, we got an opportunity here. We got an opportunity.
They didn't call it. Okay.
They called nothing. But they called that. Ooh.
Yeah, there's two of them right there.
They didn't call it. Okay.
Refs are just let him play on.
Yeah. We had Ramirez. So Ramirez was dribbling it. They should have called that. Now that looks worse on replay.
The kick after the call, yeah. But I think
they called the other one. Chiellini free kick the other way.
Yep.
That's interesting. They didn't call. They didn't call that foul.
They didn't call that, but they called one on Morris on Columbus going the other way.
Which wasn't a foul. That wasn't a yellow.
Yeah. And real quick, we have just altered this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was a good stat that just showed up on the screen. A league record this year, average of 22,000 fans, league record across MLS this season. 12
million tickets were sold based on the press conference that I was on yesterday.
Yeah, that comes out to
which is also a new MLS record.
Yeah, 22,111 per game is what that comes out to. That's fantastic.
Do you think it's because of Messi?
No, Messi was.
I think it's because of bigger stadiums.
Okay,
it's because I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I think you can better set your clock by a sport that does not break away by commercials. You're looking at basically 2 hours. We've been on the stream now for 2 hours and 2 minutes, but they don't break away. When you go to commercial, you take away from the experience.
Yeah.
And I think that helps a little bit here, and I don't know. I mean, I think it's just becoming more and more popular as the world is becoming more international across every form. So this game right here is being broadcast, and I think either between 130 to 150 130 or 150 countries, worldwide. But it's funny because you look at stuff like the stats that are going on with all of this, and baseball is trying to get better. They're trying to get more, obviously the Ohtani thing is big news, but I think a lot of us still stand, and especially when World Cup comes here in a couple of years, they're going to be looking at soccer as the new baseball.
Yes.
I don't think it'll take over. Okay.
I will say, I will stick by this. Within the next 5 to 10 years, soccer will overtake baseball in ratings and average attendance.
Yep.
Within 5 years.
One of the things that blew me away, and I ran the stats on this, there were, I believe, there were 2 games that started this year. I think it was Atlanta and
we got another threat.
Carolina. Their home openers drew more more fans in attendance than half of the NFL home games week 1. Atlanta and Carolina outdrew half of the NFL in attendance per stadium.
I mean, in fairness, the Falcons and Panthers are both garbage this year.
No, I'm talking nationwide. I'm talking versus MetLife Stadium. I'm talking versus, the Patriots. I'm talking versus everything. I ran the numbers for Atlanta and Carolina. They beat like half of the NFL leagues. Week 1 or game 1 for both teams, or both leagues, home opener. I'll pull up that stat, but I was blown away by it.
Yeah.
Because they had like 75,000 people at Atlanta United, I think.
Yeah, they fill the Benz Dome in Atlanta.
You know, it was funny.
They always fill it. They always fill it.
When I was talking to Mitja Ilinic is a 18-year-old kid with NYCFC, and he was talking about coming from Serbia, where they get like 5,000 fans per game, and he came to NYCFC and he saw 20,000. He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe there's this many." I was like, "Yeah, wait till you go to Atlanta."
Right, and then that's 20, but that's 20,000 in the stadium that seats 40. So it looks like nothing, but he's still,
baseball stadium exactly.
Yeah.
But
go and play 25,000 in Columbus, 30,000 in Nashville, 70,000 in Seattle or Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Ramirez is fired up.
They're getting close. They're getting close.
Now the fans are starting to see it. Now the fans are starting to see it.
They've been threatening, but they really and there've been chances, but just LA cannot get that equalizer.
Yeah,
getting close.
We're closing in here.
I feel like I have to do this.
And there it is. Columbus Crew are MLS Cup champions of 2023. Columbus 2, LAFC 1. So we do not get a repeat for LA. We have Columbus's third cup.
Yeah. And
well deserved.
Columbus gets that third star, and they earned it.
Well deserved.
There it is. Yep.
Who has the most? The Galaxy, right? Galaxy has the most.
Galaxy is 4 or 5, I think.
So they're saying the third most. So is Galaxy, and then who else?
Seattle maybe.
Who's that?
Third most cups. Columbus has the third most cups with 3.
Or no, DC. I think DC.
DC. Okay.
DC has 4 or 5.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. I'm going to.
Yeah, DC has 4 or 5, and LA has 4, I think.
All right, you want to call it? We can call it.
Great game.
Final thoughts.
Great game.
I'm going to play the douche. I'm going to play the douche card, by the way, and you may want to pick up that phone because I called it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
you called it.
So,
you called it with 2-1.
But all right, gentlemen. But thank you guys. I appreciate you both for doing this. I think this is something that we may want to continue doing going forward. I think we polished it up a little bit. I need to definitely polish up my intro. Holy crap, that was garbage on a stick. But at least we got a good GIF out of it of Cucho doing, rolling off screen. We
got the Cucho GIF, and if we want to go back and go on my Don Garber rant, okay.
Oh yeah, that's worth it.
But if you're on press conferences with him, we can be nice.
All things in their own time, but massive congratulations to the Columbus Crew.
Yeah.
This is.
I'm so happy I'm not seeing. I'm so happy I am not seeing that second star on the LA uniforms. But this is for the first time in a while a star I'm happy to see, because between the NYCFC COVID year and LA last year, I'm thinking that's our star, you bastards. You took it. But Columbus earned this. But in all fairness, Columbus earned this one. They got hot towards the end of the season, and then just blew through the playoffs.
100%.
They needed all 3 in the first round against Atlanta, but since they passed Atlanta in the first round, since they came back from the break, Columbus has been unstoppable.
Absolutely.
Wow, did you see what they said about Nagby? He's the second player to win four MLS Cups. Yeah, no,
I knew it was somebody who was going for either the third or fourth cup. It was Nagby. Yeah,
4. Wow.
Yeah,
good for him.
All right, gentlemen, we got to skedaddle because I got to get over the rock. So, Seton Hall Rutgers, event number. Well, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
What time is the game?
Yeah. 8:30. That's at 8:30 on FS1, I believe.
I believe
And
so. Yeah.
and thanks a bunch, Scott, for taking that over for me. I haven't been able to cover as many games in person this winter because my mom is going through a cancer battle. I'm getting a bit more comfortable to talk about it publicly, but this is a great distraction for me while going through absolute hell. But while you guys are at the event, I may play around on Twitter for that one, have some fun. We can make
if you help to get your steam out basically by ranting on Seton Hall, both teams 5-3. Be my guest.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And Sammy, thank you for coming on.
JD, what's your Twitter?
It's just Streampunk Twitter at Streampunk ENT.
Streampunk ENT Twitter. So, so. All right, gentlemen, we're going to call it here. So I got to get, like I said, I got to go pick up Ernesto and then get on the road. So,
all right.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Awesome 2023 MLS season. We will be back, and I will have more content throughout, but we will be back with more stuff for 2024. I got some cool stuff on the horizon. We all have some cool stuff on the horizon here. Yeah. So
we will be expanding our MLS coverage next year.
Exactly.
We have 2 teams this year, hoping for more. But we're hoping for more going forward and expanding our coverage in general on this channel. And thank you to all you watching out there and for all your support. And thank you, Sammy, for coming on and joining us.
Yep.
No problem. Anytime.
Later, guys.
Anywhere.
Be good.